Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of AgenticEra. This is a podcast where we're going to talk about all the latest tech news. We're for software engineers, product managers, whatever have you. We're all technical now in this era. So we're going to get right into it. I'm your co-host, Ken. This is my co-host, Isaac, with me right now. And let's get into it. So, Isaac, I know you're probably from the last episode we shot. This is episode 3. A lot of stuff has dropped in the last couple weeks. What are some things that stand out to you? And let's get into it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Honestly, we saw the release of GPT 5.5.
Mm.
So Sam is back. OpenAI has released another agent that they're calling the smartest and most intuitive. It's up to speed with all the agents that we're seeing across Gemini 3.1 and Claude Opus 4.5. I've been using it in Cursor a bit. I will say, especially since it's half off usually when these new models drop. I am feeling that it's up to like a Opus 4.6 standard. I haven't really compared it against 4.7, but it's cool. So along with that, OpenAI also has Image 2. They're back. We're also seeing the 2026 AI Index report. We'll drop a link to this. This is a Stanford EDU report talking about some of the AI capabilities that are going on right now. Very interesting read. Also, you may have saw that Graphite was joining Cursor, and this is really interesting to me. So Graphite is an interface on top of Git that allows you to manage PRs in this agentic era where PRs are coming at you really quickly, many lines of code, and it's really hard to stay on top of those. Now that Graphite is building itself into Cursor, it means that your Cursor Cloud agents, code review processes have increased. Their ability to scan code, see what's wrong. It has like CLI flows in there. I've been testing this out a little bit. It's an early preview, but it's really cool. It has made creating pull requests, reviewing them a lot easier to handle. Let the AI do it first, and then you come back and then finish off with the code review.
All right,
Um,
everyone. Look, I'm keeping this guy honest. Isaac, you owe us a video. This guy showed me a demo of Cursor, and again, I'm a just background on me. I use Copilot CLI. I'm using Claude Code. I'm pretty much a terminal guy. If anything, I'm in VS Code and I'm looking at diffs, right? Just because, but I'm using Warp usually for the terminal stuff, and I'm just in there all day. And this guy brings up his IDE, and I'm like, okay. And I'm noticing first right out the gate, you're auto managing work trees. Like, like that alone to me, it's like, and I don't know if anyone else has used dev containers with work trees. Like, I'm not even gonna get into it, but that alone, and then watching how you could then simultaneously also spin up cloud agents. I'm not gonna steal your thunder. You owe us a video, sir. So, community, if you don't see a video within 2 weeks from this guy, give him a shout. I'm calling you out, man. That's
all
first and
right, yeah,
foremost.
hold me to it. Cursor Cloud
Hold you to it,
agents.
man.
I'm definitely I'm in the lab with it. Like I'm finding some cool stuff to do to handle parallel work between the cloud agents in the work trees, plus still using the IDE portion to like iterate through your LLM processes. Because what we're seeing is a lot of the agents. Some are more just automatic. They want to just go, and then sometimes you want to craft those prompts. You want to like sit through, have ideations, and I'm seeing the use case for both. So in my day to day, I can't say I'm fully like CLI driven or IDE driven, or now even cloud agent dashboard driven. There's like three workflows and choosing the
Use them
right
all.
tool. I'll put a video out there, but that's another great thing. Like Cursor is really appealing to the engineers. You even might have saw SpaceX's Elon is trying to buy
Oh
Cursor.
man.
If they do that, you think about SpaceX plus their infrastructure for potentially putting data centers on the moon, and then the XAI piece with Grok. Um, yeah, if Cursor goes that direction, man, it's going to be an interesting world for everybody. It's going to shake up the way Git and GitHub works, the whole IDE aspect, we're already moving away to there. We're already moving away from there because we're also seeing, OpenAI has their own Codex, which is pretty similar to how it's set up in Cursor, but Cursor just does things differently, man. It feels like a powerhouse more and more. I think they got over that era of, their billing issues and how kind of sluggish it was and outages. I mean, that was long ago. Their agents are pretty smart. So, yeah, I'll drop a video, show you guys some of those capabilities. You can have Opus spin up, do the orchestration, and then go send a sub agent to save you on tokens. Like there's some cool stuff. So we'll get into that. But yeah, Ken, what about you on your side? What have you seen this week? What else is going on?
Well, I'm just coming off what you're going on. First of all, cursor to the moon, literally. So it's like I know you noticed this, right? This whole graphite thing, right? It happened at a time that's very convenient that all of a sudden, GitHub had those issues, right? That's in the news about the pull requests disappearing, reverting, all the stuff. And then this comes out, and now developers like, oh, we're moving from GitHub to Graphite, all this stuff, and I'm like, this is interesting timing. I don't know. It's just that's
Yeah.
how the world works. I don't know,
I
but
mean, behind the scenes, it's all Git. There's nothing special on GitHub, right? It just
yeah,
is a
yeah,
nice wrapper. They host your code, but I mean, it's all still Git. It's just
yeah.
like having SVN back in the day. Maybe we might be heading that direction again, where things are more server side in your system rather than in the cloud.
Choose where you're storing your own repository, and are people going to be storing in their own repositories actually, right? At that point, who knows? Definitely as we're moving more closed source in some areas. So also kind of off the back of that too, like the whole play with Warp, the SDK that came out, right?
Yeah.
And as you showed me the cloud agents, with Cursor, it makes me think about how Warp with the SDK, now you can, they have eyes, the cloud agents, you can now manage that in your own sort of agent orchestration. So it's like the interesting timing of things. I feel like it's just flowing all together. People are working on some of the same things, and based on who releases first, you're seeing a wave of the same thing across all the different providers, tool sets, all the things. So that was just kind of interesting to me as well. But yeah, outside of
Yeah.
that, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say when Warp open sourced their terminal, that was pretty big news for the industry because Warp has figured out a way to allow your LLM agent to run in your terminal, which is exactly what everyone wants to have, right? When you look at cloud code, this kind of stuff. But that opens the doors for local development. We're seeing this unification of IDE and terminal experience into what isn't really defined yet. Like the Codex and agent UI sort of infrastructure that's out there. What do you call that? Like, I think that is what the next experience is going to be like. You have a combination of your CLI, you can host and see your agents, and then on top of it, you're able to still see your code when you want to, because you don't want to see
Yeah,
your code all the time, but in some cases you do. So things like Warp is changing how we're looking at our development process. So for them to open source it, it's pretty cool. But one thing on that too, Warp through Oz has found a way to automatically write its own code based off of GitHub issues. So with it being open source, if you have an issue, you go talk about it right on their GitHub repo. The Oz agent will actually pick up what needs to happen, write the code, send the videos, show you, and then the community gets to kind of say, okay, yeah, this looks good, and then it merges. So that replaces the development team. And if open source software can run like that, dude, like imagine the possibilities there. Whatever's voted to the top is automatically built overnight. Like the iterative development is going to be insane.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's a whole new wave. And I mean, the fact that it's, it's open source, I mean, it allows a lot of people to see the model and be able to kind of try to create their own framework off of, what they're doing. And so it's, like we already just said earlier, it's all going to follow suit. And, even with, the computer use, right? So, looking at, I'm a big, Claude, co-work, that whole combination of things and dispatch. And I know you saw along with the 5.5 release, you have Codex doing computer use now, right? So it can, drive your, your browsers, your terms, whatever you have on your computer, it can actually do that. And it's a lot more streamlined and versatile versus like, let's say you have some of these other things like, OpenClaw or whatever else, right? Because, you'll have to kind of add certain skills to it, where they're just saying, hey, we have your whole monitor and it's learning from it and doing that sort of thing. So I think that's really interesting. Again, also based on timing and that sort of stuff, man. I'm really wondering, you have the Perplexity computer now, you got the Claude Cowork and Dispatch combo, you got OpenAI's Codex computer use. We're all following a wave right now. And also on that note, Sam also said that you can use your subscriptions, your OpenAI, your ChatGPT subscriptions in OpenClaw now too. So I
Oh,
haven't ventured out there yet, but
nice.
that's in there. But yeah, I mean, one other thing I saw earlier I thought was interesting. This is going to lead us more into some of our core topics probably here in a little bit. But did you read that update about Mark Zuckerberg having his employees basically, screen record? It's going to be screen recording what they're doing, keystroke logging, all that stuff is going on, and they're pretty much feeding the machine at that point, because it's really going to be used to train AI agents to do that job specifically. I thought that was an
Yeah.
interesting play, but
Yeah, that's a big one. I thought Mark was working on bringing us some models for use, but it sounds like he's just trying to automate Meta.
I'm still enjoying Llama 3.3. They still give us something.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, and
man.
then I saw also, yeah, on the topic of our core topic today, we're also seeing CEOs are starting to make pull requests again. Zuckerberg opened up a PR and it was he had over like 300 approvals just so people can say that they reviewed the CEO's code.
Nice,
So
nice.
yeah, I mean that's kind of cool. It's getting into the flattening of some of the orgs now that everyone is able to write code.
Yeah, man, it's kind of like, we talked a little bit off camera. I feel like this is that kind of sandwich, right? Where the non-technical folks are kind of getting more technical, right? So they're getting that way. Then the to people who are deep technically don't have to go as far in the weeds now. So they're having to get a little bit less technical and more into the product facing side of it. So I feel like it's kind of merging together. So at the same time, and again, the two CEOs we just mentioned are, well, the Mark, and then also you got like, Jack Dorsey, like who first made the flattening org structure. They're already technical, so they're like,
Yeah.
that's that. But
Yeah, I mean,
is it, yeah.
let's just get into it, Ken.
Okay. Okay.
What we want to cover today is the AI bottlenecks in business, the
Yeah.
reviews, the prototyping, those blurred roles, where AI is actually showing how teams are slowing down just because the amount of AI things that are happening. It's an industry problem. I think what you're talking about is perfect. Maybe we can just frame on the bottleneck isn't really that the models aren't smart enough. It's like, where is work being queued up? Where are we doing the work? And then, if AI can write code and integrate it, what decisions need to be made around who owns what, right? If everybody is able to write code, do the developers also maintain it, or does the AI just maintain it itself? But yeah, Ken, continue. Maybe we can start on like some of those like PR things, what we're seeing in that world.
Well, just from PRs, I mean, that's been in play for a while now, right? Because the moment that when we hit December 2025, when we noticed, I think it was it Opus 4.5 at that point, and we noticed that like it's really good with the code. You don't have to be, hand holded as much, and it's really producing really well. It was at that point that, it started cranking out a lot of code. And for everyone, the first thing that happened was we're like, oh, we can build a whole bunch of stuff. And then you realize I have to review code for a whole bunch of stuff. And so it's like at that point, it was like we had to figure out, and different people do it in different ways. You had the Peter Steinberger said basically it's not that he doesn't review the code anymore, because like everyone's saying I don't look at code anymore. He said he doesn't review the unimportant parts. So he looks at the important parts that he needs to. So obviously anybody, we're looking at security and how you're authorizing authentication and all that other stuff. But, a lot of people are taking that approach. Some people are letting agents that they've given, and I've done this personally as well, like create a PR skill or an agent that can basically say, give me the three categories of what are high, medium, and lows of issues to deal with this PR, and maybe I might focus more on the high, depending on volume, and then go to medium, and then whatever else. Because I still believe that you can outsource some of this stuff, but don't outsource your understanding of what's going on. So at least kind of get that curation going on. And so some people are going to purely agentic with it, where they have just Opus write it, Codex review it, and then they don't even their hands off at that point, right? And then they're rolling it out. So I saw some of that with PRs, but it really was just how do you handle the volume of it? But then on my point, it's like, okay, I feel like that's important, but also you should stay informed. So if PRs are pushing through and code's moving, and you're not at least looking at the PR titles and descriptions or being just aware, like that's a little bit too much. In my opinion, you got to at least have some skin in the game on the understanding part of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
no,
my
I
take.
think you hit on a good point. Like having the skill in place first. Um, if you design the skill around what you care about, even at multiple levels, right? Your critical, high, medium, low, but you could have a um, you know, principal engineer skill, you could have a CTO sort of review skill, you could have a junior dev skill, right? Because you do want different perspectives. Each could be its own models so that you're getting various sorts of details. Um, it does bloat a lot of the commenting, right? Like you're going to get all these comments on your PR, things you care about, things you don't. But I think the person that puts up the PR also needs to be the first one to go through it, right? Clean it up, make sure the comments that are more hallucinated are gone so that when somebody comes in, they're looking at what is the final form. Because, I mean, at this point, it didn't take you long to code it. So mentally, we're like, man, it takes forever to review it now, but you've kind of shortened the gap still. So, it's still an advantage to have the amount of throughput come through on the backside where you need to spend more time like looking at code.
Well,
So
who owns it though? If we're doing it the warp Oz style, where issues created and then the agents just taking it on, who owns it then? What's the ownership model
right,
there?
yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, does it go more into sort of like AI ops where maybe your DevOps teams need to build processes around when an AI messes up, an AI can go fix, right? If you have other business stakeholders writing commits into the repositories, yeah, if something goes wrong, will they actually be the ones that are going to go in and fix it? It's a good question. It's a really good question. I think we're going to have to see, but I'm guessing we're trending towards AI built it, AI fixes it, right?
Yeah, man, and it's kind of a weird thing to see, right? I don't know if you've been seeing this on X, where someone's like, "Yeah, this agent deleted the entire database in production and whatever," and at that point, it's just a Spider-Man meme. No one's really taking the blame. It's like, "Oh, the agent did it," but it's like, okay, who gave it the agency? What evals did it bypass or not have, or like, what were the more restrictive measures? Could you have given it more reads and writes and no deletes? Like, who knows, right? But I don't hear much of that rhetoric. It's more of like the agent deleted my database because
Yeah,
it felt
right.
like it'd be more, it'd be better to just start over, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's a weird area.
who gave it the delete tools?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it
man.
speaks to you can't just give the agent every tool. And then the same agent, same model, same prompt. Well, not same prompt, but you know, the same LLM given to two different people would give different outputs, right?
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Because everyone still thinks differently and they're not looking at all the angles. Where you might say, important, do not delete anything. Somebody may skip that in their prompt, and then the agent did what it thought was right.
Yeah,
How many
that's
times has
true.
the agent just
Yeah.
accidentally opened up a PR and pushed the commit, and then you're just like, wait, I didn't tell you to actually do it. You know?
Hey, I know you caught that where the agents now they're pretty much committing and doing a co-author for you, trying to get the credit, man. And I'm like, hey, I'll give him a little credit. That's cool, man. But I thought that was interesting. I did what unprompted did
Yeah,
it on its own, just started doing it. I thought that was
that's
interesting.
true. That's true. Yep.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, but back to that though. I mean, we're talking about ownership responsibility. Where is like as far as from just, company culture and different things like that, like how do we like how is ownership kind of disseminated now? Like you have these companies where everyone's reporting to the owner, founder, CEO, right? These smaller startups have already been doing it. Like where does ownership lie? Is it more like your specific domain or are people working across domains? Like where are we moving in that direction?
Yeah, from my perspective, what's really cool is you're able to have an idea and it can be presented to you in a prototype. So usually an engineer is going to sit in the room with stakeholders and try to like distill what they're talking about, what they're trying to build, go off, think about it, an RFC comes and then we're like, okay, let's go. Then you build it, they're like, no, actually this is not it at all, right? So putting the onus back on the stakeholder to create that prototype. You're seeing companies like Uber lean into this pretty well where PMs, they will vibe the entire process, make it viewable. You have like different tools out there through Figma and things like that. And they can bring that to the review phase with the engineers like, here's how it's going to work. This is what it looks like. And then the engineer takes it and makes it a product, right? Puts the security
Mm-hmm.
wrappers, cleans it up, gets it deployed, all that sort of stuff. So that's cool, man. Like if you can take something that's tangible and you just clean it up, you're going into production with a 90% like success rate on what the requirements are because it already came to you in that malleable form versus trying to distill somebody's talking points and bullets from 10 hours of meetings into a product. So I do like that, but then it does quite build the question of how are these roles overlapping? If if the designer was working with the PM on the Vibe prototype and the prototype is actually more stage QA ready and the developer only needs to really just deploy it. If the developer didn't write the code and there's a bug, now where do you point at, right? Because the Vibe prototype didn't have the software patterns built into it to know where in the code base you need to go look and find that bug. So anybody jumping into that project from a software engineering perspective is going to look at this as a brand new code base, right? Unless you have the skills and patterns laid out to make your code seem the same app to app. But either way, from an engineering perspective, you're gonna be like, okay, well, this is a P0 bug. This is the first time I'm actually looking at this code, which is a whole nother issue with the Vibe stuff. Um, I didn't actually write this. Hey, like,
The Asian did
can,
it.
can we have the
Spider-Man
stakeholders?
meme.
Can we have the stakeholders redeploy their app? Like, it's like, yeah, there's definitely some Spider-Man finger pointing there. But yeah, I think it's all fun and games until we think about the failure side of this. And so when we look at companies who are consolidating, you've already heard that some engineers are being brought back in because they shrunk too small, right? Um, in my perspective, where we're seeing the consolidation of C-suite to boots on the ground engineer is in a lot of that middle management, which I don't know. Like if AI is automating a ton of processes and procedures and workflows, and we've reduced the complexity of the amount of handoff each project has. Yeah, why do you need that whole middle section?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. This sounds a little bit like the new wave of pair programming. I'm not gonna get too far into it because we got to provide some value for those who are following us. So I'm gonna leave this out. But if you are hearing this you will need to be checking the members only section of YouTube and some other things we have in the works. And you may get some free game, but not here today. Isaac, we'll talk about this later. But yeah, no, by all means, man, I think that you brought up some really good points there. And it's just, I think that it's going to be a different layer of, or I guess people are going to have their own personal frameworks they're going to work through individually, and then they're going to have to bring those together. Again, I'm staying vague. But yeah, man, good stuff. I mean, I feel like what are some of the things that, and I'm just kind of going off of, I haven't had as much interaction with this just yet, maybe a little bit. But no, when you have more of the non-technical and then you have the people who have been like really technical, when they meet together, it's kind of, that handoff can be a little bit tricky. So I kind of feel like now, we're gonna have to also kind of develop those, they say those soft skills, right? Because you might
Mm.
have, go from a product manager might come down, talk to a tech architect. That tech architect speaks the lingos, talking directly to the engineers and all that stuff, and they're collaborating, and then all that stuff's going on. Right now, it's like you pair a purely product side person with a person in super deep technical expertise who cannot use the proper tech lingo in that point, or needs to provide education content. Like how I'm like seeing those two paths meet will be really interesting. So it's kind of something we'll have to kind of look at of like, man, the building while you learn pattern, right? Learn while
Yeah.
you build kind of pattern. But yeah,
Yeah,
man.
so that synergy you have when you're in a hackathon. It's you, a few people you're with, and you're just like, okay, 48 hours, whatever, boom, here's the product. Those hyper focused, laser focused initiatives bring the best results because you're focused on one thing. I feel like that duo that you're talking about, the PM and the engineer, once they're in the same lockstep patterns, they've actually created a laser. Like you can build really quickly now. So if the product requirements meet the design spec, meet the functionality, you can ship so much faster. So I do think when we're talking about small teams, 2 devs, your designer, your PM, everybody has Claude or whatever agent. So the PM is able to articulate to the engineers. The engineers hopefully can articulate back to the business users. And yeah, that synergy just builds. And then,
Yeah.
you can just start releasing product after product, feature after feature. There are days that, you walk into a situation and it's just like, all right, we're in hackathon mode. And then, me and my agents, and then we just go to work, boom, and you're
Me
like,
and my
okay, this is
agents.
cool.
Oh man, no, that's awesome, man. So I think that's good enough right here, man. We're gonna close it off right here, but we mainly want to end off on a place where we're gonna kind of probe a question, right? And everything you've heard up until this point, this is for the community. Like anything you've heard where okay, they identified bottlenecks in PRs and requirements gathering and whatever else have you. What are the things you're seeing in your day to day that you're seeing AI bottlenecks? Or any interesting things you're seeing with accountability issues or things that you found solutions in any of those two topics. So if you're in the community, if you're watching this video, comment below in the comments. And we want to keep this interactive, so we'll address it and we'll kind of take it from there, and we'll all learn together, we'll all grow together, and that's that. So thanks again for watching this video, and we'll see you guys next time. All right.
Peace out.